Hi beautiful people, hope everybody is doing well. Hope everybody is getting off to a great start of the week. I'm now making a habit of these voiceovers. I am still working on my project of transforming the room in which I do all my recording in and transforming that into a hangout space for my girls. It's coming along slowly but surely. At the moment I am covered in paint. It is literally like 11:30 at night. But when I went onto Instagram and I checked what is going on, I was like, oh, hell no. But we're going to get into that. Before I do, please do not take what I say as fact. Feel free to do your own research and come to your own conclusion. If anybody can remember, KJ was the one to emphasize and let it be known to people. And let me remind you, as per KJ's own words, this is not about Miranda. It's not only about Miranda. There are other people involved, right? So on her Instagram today, Monday, she made 12 posts in regard to these dancers. Let me just put it that way. And 6 of those posts was about Miranda alone. The first one, she says, Robert Shin and 7M exposed in Europe. Due to the tremendous efforts of all you helping to push the story out, European outlets are now covering the story. This is just a small sample of what I found. These are articles in Spanish and French newspapers. Oh, thank you, Jesus. Finally, she's getting a good use of a Spanish degree. But how did she read the French newspapers? Wow. I found content in Portuguese. There are also articles in major outlets in Norway. Where the fuck is she getting the time to look after her family? That's my biggest question at this point. But anyway, this story is not going away. No matter what the Shins do to try to change the narrative, the truth is the truth. The facts are the facts. Miranda represents one single victim of dozens that have been exploited, ripped from their families, psychologically hurt, coerced, manipulated, and had their lives and money stolen. Over the weekend, I spent hours on the phone with family of other dancers. Just because other families haven't spoken out, that doesn't mean that they aren't worried. I was given tremendous insight into the former cult that Tie-Dyes, B-Dash, and Concrete were involved in. Their family members provided insight into the vulnerability these men have and how they ended back up in a cult. It's so easy to blame these men for falling victim. They have all made mistakes in their lives. However, there's a lot of trauma in their lives that led them to the space. Not your place. Definitely not your place, Katie Joy. Not at all. Robertson exploited men that were looking for a father figure, a sense of financial security, and a way out of poverty. Are you fucking kidding me? So please remember, the men in this situation are victims too. Yes, they may be recruiting women for Robert, but they are also coerced and manipulated. I also promised all victims to have tremendous care with their stories, so I'll only be releasing information that is necessary right now.
I spoke to B-Dash's ex-wife, and their marriage was arranged. And according to her, he's not the most assertive kind of guy, and she's like totally shocked that he would get involved in something like this again. But she's like not sympathetic. She's not sympathetic to him.
In time, the truth will fully come out about what the Shins are doing. Our goal is to ensure all the victims can realize they can be free and that Robert Shin is held accountable legally and criminally for what's happening. Keep sharing, keep advocating for your friends, and never give up. Together we can reach the goal of freeing all people trapped inside this cult. Okay, Jan. Next one. 7M changes illegal real estate caption. Third one about Miranda. Wearing Chloe's shoes from 2019. Back in 2018-2019, Chloe Shin was trying to hit it big as a singer. She had moderate success writing songs, but failed to launch as a mainstream singer herself. A fan account on Twitter shares old videos and images of Chloe. I noticed quickly that a pair of shoes she was wearing were identical to shoes seen worn by Miranda. They've also cut Miranda's hair to the same length and dyed her hair the same color. It seems the Shins believe this formula look will launch Miranda's career. The dancers' wardrobes are recycled and shared. You can see the women wearing one another's clothes. Robert Shin preaches not wasting money and saving money for the gospel. A former member revealed that he even has some members eat old or nearly expired food so not to waste food. While I understand some will claim this is a reach, this is a tiny detail that hopefully highlights that they've been trying to hit it big for years. They've worked very hard to make Chloe famous, but she never achieved the fame they desired. They moved on to influencers and dancers with established followings to gain the fame they desired. Miranda once prided herself on her long dark hair. She never wanted to cut it short, nor did she want to dye her hair. Yes, people can change, but when a cult is molding you into their image, that's not change. Whether they, clearly somebody didn't watch Top Model. Anyway, whether they're identical shoes or not, I don't know, but it looks the same. Clearly, and this is another example, that KJ has no friends, girlfriends particularly. Let's move on. Hairstyle by 7M to make Chloe 2.0. The Shins have a look they want to sell. They tried this with Chloe and it didn't work. A comparison of Chloe's looks from 2019 are very similar to Miranda's new looks now. There's quite a few other females in this group, okay, of dancers. But it's only Miranda that they want to mold into Chloe. Am I getting this right? Because it just seems as though Miranda's the only part of this group, or she's the only person that they're trying to, as you say, mold. This is the best one to date. The best one to date. She says every cult has a look. So she takes pictures of every cult, and then she puts a picture of the three guys that were doing a dance in one of their videos, and then she got Miranda. Now you guys, I'm no expert. I've never claimed to be an expert in knowing cults. What cult allows the woman to dress this way? And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the way Miranda is dressed. She looks absolutely fucking adorable. Really? Look at Miranda. Look at Miranda in that jacket, that little tube top she has on with the huts. Now, what cult very well know the Duggars will never allow her to wear that. That cult will never allow her to wear that. So this is a very, very modern day cult. Very modern day cult. So she says, cult leaders are notorious for controlling all facets of their followers' lives. Dictating hairstyles, clothing, and appearance are common in all cults. Now again, in this group, the 7M cult that she claims it to be, Miranda's not the only female, okay? There are other females. They didn't cut their hair, or they didn't change the way they look to look like Chloe. So why is she on fucking Miranda's butt like this? Moving on. At first, it may not be easy to spot, but pay attention to the individuals and see if you can spot the similarities. Controlling someone's look helps to strip their individuality, and they stop thinking about themselves. They become part of the group. Not all groups are the same in what they allow or don't allow, but the cult leaders almost have preference which is made known to the group. Unfucking believable at this point. Then we move on to how Chloe responded to backlash, and Katie Joy took it upon herself to put together this little clip to show you guys how Chloe has a cream top on with hoops, and then in Miranda's video, Miranda had on a cream top with hoops. Really, Katie? Have you got nothing else to go on? Absolutely nothing else? Miranda and James live with Reno, or Nicholas Rayano. Married couples usually don't need roommates. I would look at it as times are tough out there, you know, especially for these struggling performers or actors or entertainers, whatever you want to call them. Times are tough. Especially the fact, Katie Joy, that you are pulling the money out of their pockets. You are going to their sponsors and getting them pulled from their sponsors. Then she says Miranda and James Derrick live in a 1,500 square foot home with Rhino. You know, this is irritating me. It's truly irritating me. If you have a roof over your head, it's a blessing. It truly is a blessing, whether it's a 500 square foot apartment or whether it's a 5,000 square foot home. Katie Joy, I hope you live in a mansion. At the rate you go and how judgmental you are about the size of homes people live in. Well, clearly we know you can afford 2 Bentleys, so clearly you got to live in a multi-million-dollar home at this point, honestly. Nicholas Rayano, I apologize if I am saying that wrong, is a 29-year-old from New York. He is described by many that I've spoken to as one of the most religious in the group. I do not know much about him, only that his response is further proof that 7M is justifying these attacks as persecution. Rhino was the first dancer to join and who helped Isaiah recruit all the other dancers into the cult. Now, let's stop right there, okay? First of all, nothing wrong with being religious. You see, when it comes to Katie Joy, she has said this before, and it's just no secret that she has a problem with Christians. Because as you can see in the screenshot, she said all religions are cults. And then, when you talk about how Rhino was the first dancer to join and who helped Isaiah recruit, but Katie Joy, let's go back to when you first started reporting on the story. You were the one that said that Tie-Dyes was the one recruiting for this group. So which is it? Which story do we believe? Do we believe it's Rhino or do we believe it's Tie-Dyes? You got to get your story straight at some point, okay? So also, as I was going through without a crystal ball or clues Instagram, which I will actually link down below, and feel free if you would like to go and follow them because they have some very insightful information there. 7M's lawyers have made contact and given and will continue to give written notice to the Daily Beast, Rolling Stones, and anyone else who wants to repeat false narratives. So speak or write what you want at your risk. Hashtag defamation, hashtag lawyered up. I just cannot get over the fact that Katie Joy would insist that this is not just about Miranda, but majority about Miranda. Obsessed much? Why Miranda? Because you guys, there are 11 different dancers in this group, okay? She's already put it out there that James B Dash is not very smart. He doesn't take care of his kid, and Tie-Dyes has, the only reason he joined this cult was because he lost his brother. The reason she is speaking out about B Dash is because she is in communication with B Dash's ex-wife. Now, Angie, whatever your name is, I mean, no disrespect. Please do your due diligence and research Katie Joy, because she has done this before with a certain person by the name of Matt Bauer, where she reached out to Matt Bauer's wife and fed her some sweet story to get her to talk to her. So I'm going to leave that piece of information for you to go and watch and hear from the source itself, Matt Bauer, on how Katie Joy manipulated his ex-wife to speak to her. That's it from Katie Joy in one day. She did 12 Instagram posts, and half of them was about poor Miranda. Miranda, that's supposed to be a victim, that Katie Joy is going for her jugular as a victim. Katie Joy is harassing her, in my opinion. Katie Joy is demonizing her, in my opinion. Katie Joy is doing everything that you're not supposed to do to a victim. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Please be safe out there. Be kind to one another, and don't forget, make good memories. Bye, guys.